Well. Votes were cast last night, Super Tuesday number 2, and turns out our good friend of the channel here, the Radical Independent, who I had the pleasure of having on my program yesterday, made a very accurate prediction. Of course, some people possibly saw this coming. Polls were showing Joe Biden was running away with it. Stood to win big on Super Tuesday round 2, just as he did on Super Tuesday round 1. Okay, but here's the kicker, folks. Everyone that said Kim Iverson company love Kim Iverson, but there were a lot of people who were trying to really downplay what we saw out of Joe Biden the first time around, thinking, okay, lucky shot, had the endorsements, Bernie's on the comeback trail. Didn't happen. Did not happen. I said this back when Bernie crushed Nevada. The only chance Bernie Sanders had at just completely running the field, taking the nomination, is that he would have to continue to get these Nevada-style victories. That is not happening and doesn't look like is going to happen from here to the convention. Bernie had such a crushing loss last night that there was actually rumors starting to circulate around as to whether or not Bernie would even be staying in the race. There were some people certainly starting to float the idea that Bernie Sanders could actually be dropping out. Okay. Of course, Bernie's come out, says he's not dropping out, not on his agenda. But, I mean, let's just be completely honest. I don't see the path to victory for Bernie. Of course, now some people are going to say, well, wait a minute, how could you be advocating for Tulsi Gabbard even less than a week ago? I mean, she had no path to victory. You're saying Bernie doesn't? I said Tulsi would have the greatest comeback in the history of politics if she could pull something like that off, and she may have stood a chance if she'd been on the debate stage. Now, is it possible if we make it to the next debate that Bernie could come back from the dead? Yeah, it's still possible. I just don't see it happening. Why do I not see it happening? Well, let's see. Everyone basically has come out and endorsed Joe Biden, including one, and this is rather saddening, Andrew Yang. Really? Really? All the grassroots support. This really put a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not even going to lie, for Andrew Yang. Okay? Yang, you would have just been better off staying silent. Okay? At the end of the day, okay, we got to remember something. Yang, you had all this grassroots support. UBI, the Yang Gang, and buddy, the Yang Gang did a hell of a lot for you. But to go and support Joe Biden, what is Joe Biden going to do? You think Joe Biden's going to pass a universal basic income? Oh, that's funny. That's truly funny. No, see, Joe Biden is considering, nominating someone, to a very high-ranking position like vice president, perhaps. He's considering putting a Republican in that position. Let's see. He's also thinking about nominating former head of Chase. Okay? And for those of you who are not exactly familiar with who I'm referring to with Chase, it's J.P. Morgan Chase's Jamie Dimon. You might want to look that one up. He wants to put that one in charge of the Treasury, potentially. Wow. What a great fit. So, Yang, really, man, that was who you endorsed. Yang Gang, you can like me or not out there, but I will say the exact same thing that I've been saying about Bernie. You just rolled over for a man for political brownie points, to try to play along, to get along. I don't know what your end game was, but, you just gave everything up really for nothing. I don't know what you're going to get from this. Bernie tried to appease the establishment this time around. Yeah, tell me how well that worked out again for him. Did they rally behind him? Did the establishment say, oh, okay, Bernie, you want to be nice to us? The people want you. Maybe we can work a little something out. Absolutely not. That is not what happened. They've rigged it again against Bernie. They've rallied behind one candidate, and they've made it so that it was just too big of a hill for Bernie to climb, potentially. They've succeeded in that goal. Okay, so David was right. The radical independent, he called it. March 10th, the end of Bernie Sanders. If we see the man rise back, I said this about Tulsi, I'll say it about Bernie now. You can consider it nothing short of a miracle if Bernie comes back from this. That being said, Bernie has said, okay, he's going to support whoever the nominee is. Joe Biden. My friend Joe Biden. He's going to support him. Okay. He's going to support him. He's going to get out there. He's going to try to stump votes for him. He's going to hit the campaign trail for him. That's, wow. Some revolution there, Bernie. Some revolution. Give us good old Joe Biden. The country will be doing, much better with a man who is cognitively going bye-bye and really has been pretty much a establishment sleazeball politician for quite some time. Okay? But, I kind of made this joke yesterday. I made David crack up when I said it. But, hey, Joe Biden, he's a tough guy. What was it he said that he would do to Donald Trump? He'd do what they used to do in high school, take him out behind the gym and beat his ass or something like that. That you got to go back a long ways. But way before Biden even declared, when he was bashing Trump, he said something along those lines. And hey, Joe Biden's the man to do it. I mean, he went up to Corn Pop straight razor and all, man. It's like, hey, man, I'm not saying, I'll apologize for calling you Esther. I'm not apologizing for kicking you out of that pool. I ain't afraid of you, big boy. Wow. Yeah. Real tough guy, Joe. Real tough. I can just imagine Donald Trump breaking that old Jeb Bush line out on Joe Biden. Yeah, real tough, Joe. Yeah, real. You're a tough guy, Joe. You're a tough guy. Yeah, you're the Scranton Scrapper. I can hear it now. Donald Trump would eat Joe Biden for lunch. Who is anyone kidding? Joe Biden, he's got the charisma going for him. That he has over Clinton. We said that yesterday. Anything else? It ain't there. It just isn't there. So that being said, I'm curious. Bernie, if you don't get it this time around, it's become clear as a bell that no Democrat insider is going to support you. And hell, even some of those they're considering outsiders aren't even supporting you. Okay? Kamala Harris signed on to your Medicare for All bill. She's not supporting you. Beto O'Rourke, hey, he tried to ride your coattails a little bit there at one point. He didn't support you. Okay? And even Andrew Yang, who part of the trio that a lot of people thought were the outside best choice, the top three for a lot of people like myself, Big Talk, Little Talk, Jimmy Dore, the radical independent. A lot of people sang these three praises for these people. Now, obviously different people like different ones to different degrees, but we could all kind of at least agree on the top three. And that was Yang, Sanders, Gabbard. Okay. And one of those other two, Bernie, Tulsi, of course, still hanging in the race. So she's not going to endorse you. No. But Yang drops out, went to work for CNN, and endorses Joe Biden. Wow. No one is supporting Bernie Sanders. So Bernie, I'm going to ask the question. Do you have an ounce of dignity left? Do you have an ounce of manhood left in your body? Because if you do, you've got to realize this is an issue bigger than Donald Trump bad. Orange man bad. Cheeto needs to leave office. We're way bigger than that issue, Bernie. Yes, you may consider Donald Trump to be a horrible president, okay? But Bernie, you were the guy advocating for a long, long time. We needed a third party in this country. And yet you've tried your hand to run inside of one of those parties to try to take it over twice. And you failed, Bernie. Yes, we haven't reached the end of the road this time, but we can tell where the road is going because we can see that the bridge is out and it is not too far away. Okay? They're setting you up, man. They're setting you up. And here's the thing. You've said you're going to go out and campaign for who they hand it to again. So, Bernie, yeah, you might go out and campaign for Joe. What I want to know is, what are you going to do in 2024? I don't see Bernie launching another presidential campaign. I certainly hope he doesn't, okay? I certainly hope he doesn't. I think this should send the message to Bernie, you tried, you didn't do it, and you probably couldn't do it because you made a big mistake in 2016 when you endorsed Hillary Clinton. I'm convinced that's why his base fractured so much. And if he was willing to, try to support Warren the last time around, I've said this before and I'll say it again, he should have supported Gabbard this time around considering she really went to bat for him in 2016. And hell, she's went to bat for him more this time around than he tends to go to bat for himself. Okay? So he should have tried, to support another candidate and bring unity together, not split that progressive vote up. Okay? And Gabbard would have had the chance. If she had had his support, guess what? She's going to bring the Bernie supporters to the table because a lot of Bernie supporters like Tulsi Gabbard, especially when she was doing all of his heavy lifting during debates. Okay? Another thing that they would have had the edge on was the fact that there's so many people who felt, even from the right, Republicans and independents, you could have brought more people into the Democrat Party that way. Bernie has not been able to really build a coalition. Tulsi Gabbard could build that unified coalition. Democrats, independents, Republicans. Boom. All three. She had the ability to pull all three. She was buried by the mainstream media, wasn't defended by Bernie Sanders, even though she would defend him, and was just left to rot at the wayside under a pile of slander. And that was the story of Tulsi Gabbard pretty much this time around. A terrific woman, okay, who has served her country honorably in more ways than one, went to bat for someone who clearly she has some respect for, and the favor was really not returned. In some ways, yes, but in many ways, no. Okay? And to me, that's just not a good thing. So, Bernie, in 2024, you get screwed this time around. People like myself and many others are calling for this third-party movement. We're going to start doing everything we can to really work on this third-party movement. We're trying to get people like Tulsi, Jesse Ventura, I'm mentioning Richard Ojeda, Tim Canova, okay, Ron Paul even, okay. We're going to really start looking into some key figures here, trying to get them on board, trying to get, something done here, okay. Lisa Savage, potentially. We're looking at a lot of people to try to start trying to bring something together here, okay? Bernie, imagine what you could do for your political revolution if you would lend your support. To me, that's one of the only things you could do at this point that could redeem yourself if you're going to go out and roll over for the Democrats 2 times around. And if you gave your support, understand this, there's going to be some people who are going to scoff at it because they're going to say, how dare you try to jump on board now? But you know what, Bernie? At the end of the day, there's a lot of people that love you. And if you gave your support to it, there you go. There you go. But we know one thing for sure. Bernie has said he would become a Democrat should he win the Democrat nomination. But Bernie Sanders has been running for a long, long time with an I after his name, standing for independent. If Bernie Sanders cucks to the Democratic Party twice within a 4-year span and refuses the next time around to really get behind a third party, something he called for years ago, if he refuses to do that, well, Bernie, you, my book, and I could arguably kind of say this now, but I can certainly say it if you do that the next time around and you abandon a third party movement and continue to support, the disastrous Democrats, okay? You are a Democrat. And I don't care what you run on or talk about, you're a Democrat insider, really. Because you're abandoning a real revolution, you're abandoning a real movement to just keep kissing establishment ass. And that's not revolutionary at all. That's just enabling the people that have been the problem for a long time. The ones you've been complaining about for a long time.